So welcome back to part 2 of repairing the Tecumseh carburetor on the Snowblower. Today I'll be taking apart the carburetor and rebuilding it. So this carburetor here is very similar to the ones on the 8 horsepower to 11 horsepower Tecumseh engines. It's also very similar to those on some lawnmowers. What's very similar is that they have the same bowl and some of them have the same adjusting screw at the bottom. So we're going to start by removing the bowl nut here with the screw. And we'll see what we find in there. Now some of the fuel is going to leak, so I put a piece of cardboard there. Now just pop it. And it looks pretty atrocious. You can see it's in bad shape because it's full of gel at the bottom here. The fuel must have varnicized. Or it could be a bit of water as well. It's all over the carburetor. Now I'm going to take this seal off here. It's broken. And I'm going to take the float off by pushing the pin. And it's jammed in there. Now I'm going to spray the pin with penetrating oil because I'm going to have to be very careful removing that. To remove the pin from the carburetor, since it's stuck in there, I've put it in the vise with 2 pieces of wood to hold it nice and solid, and I'm going to gently try to remove the pin. Now to do this, I'm going to use a small finishing nail, and I'm going to tap on the pin, but very gently. And fortunately, the pin is coming out very easily. And now just remove the float and grab the needle in there. And I'm going to use this Tecumseh tool number 870377 to remove the seat down there. If you don't have this tool, you can use a paper clip. So now I'm going to insert the side with the hook straight down in there. Then I'm going to pull up. And here's the seat. I'm also going to remove the air adjusting screw right here completely. With the Tecumseh tool, you can grab the O-ring and the little washer that's in there. There's the washer, and there'll be a little O-ring in there. It's not too bad. Before you clean your parts, grab the float, shake it. If you hear fuel inside of the float, that means it's leaking and taking on fuel, and it's not going to work right. If you don't hear anything in the float, then you can reuse it. These are the parts I'm going to clean and salvage, so I'm going to spray them with carb cleaner. If you have a pail full of carb cleaner, you can just soak them right in there. Now you want to spray it right down the emulsion tube here. Wear safety glasses when doing it. Right inside the connector here. Inside where the adjustment screw went. And let it soak for a couple hours. After your parts have been sitting for a while, just grab them, clean them off real good with a rag. Now when it comes to the carburetor, you can grab a 5/64 drill bit. It fits perfectly in the emulsion tube. You're not going to damage anything by doing this, and just move it back and forth with your hand. Do not use a drill to do this. And if there's any dirt, you're going to see it on the drill bit. Make sure you've wiped it real clean inside. Now if you use a wire brush, make sure it's really soft. Now sometimes I'll clean my carburetor parts on this wire brush here, but if you do this, be very careful and make sure to wear safety glasses. My carburetor, it's nice and clean. Remember, if you do clean it this way, go lightly. You don't want to end up damaging your carburetor. Now you also want to remove the screw from the jet here and make sure that it's clean and that the O-ring is good. And the O-ring looks good, and I think somebody replaced the carb kit in this blower not that long ago. Now there's a bit of dirt in the hole here which is going to need to be removed. And you can use a small piece of wire to clean that. And there's also a tiny little hole here. You're going to have to use a wire from a tie wrap or something like that to clean this little one. If you don't have a wire that fits, the little clip that holds the needle fits perfectly in there. And you want to see the wire in the center of the jet. If these holes are dirty, your machine will not work. Now if you're going to clean this jet on a wire brush, make sure you hold it good or else it's going to go flying out of your hands. Also, if the needle that goes on that jet is dirty, clean it as well on the wire brush. So once you've got the screw cleaned and the jet, put them back together. Put the spring first, put the washer, then the O-ring, and screw it in there. Screw it right to the end, and then turn it out a turn and a half. And once we've got it on the blower and it's running, we can fine tune it then. So we'll see in part 3 where I reassemble the carburetor with new parts, and then I'll start it up. So make sure to come back and watch part 3.